Shalom. Call hello, Yahweh Bashanah Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors into the apostles and the elders, the elder bishops of Connecticut. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners. And to the Akwath that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. Coming at you with another lesson. This is going to be continuing in the last video about, a commentary on Obadiah. Let me just look real quick. It's just amazing how there's no messages, nothing. And then as soon as it's just Satan. So you sit down and start doing the work of the Lord, everybody wants to call, text, and send messages. But trying to grab the name of the video. I forget what I named it. So, oh yeah, the Idumeans' upcoming instruction. So this will be a continuation of that same commentary from this guy John W. Rittenbaugh. And then we're going to start right there where it says Genesis 25:21-23. And he's giving you his take on it instead of what the scriptures actually say. And that's what you get when you're dealing with Esau. You get a lot of opinion and conjecture. When you're dealing with Christians in the church and these theologian cemeteries, that's what you're dealing with. Conjecture and opinion. It's rare that you get facts and scriptures. You know, you get edifying scriptures that precept upon precept supporting one another. All right, but this is right there at the second paragraph, which is Genesis 25:21-23. And it reads, God's revelation to Rebekah regarding the struggling twins and two kinds or types of people were in her womb. They were definitely not identical. And how do you know that? Because it describes Esau as being a so-called white person. All right, that red pale flesh. Okay, it said red like a hairy garment, not hairy. They all right, because they dyed these garments red back in the ancient world. Didn't say he was hairy. It said red like a hairy garment. He had that red flesh. And who calls themselves rednecks? All right, who has those rosy red cheeks? You wanna know? As a matter of fact, let's see if we could just get real quick image of Glenn Beck. All right. Here we go. Just put it up, man. Just why it's doing that. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Perfect. Especially this one. All right. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. All right. Glenn's Beck. And I love this particular image because his hair is white and his skin is not. You see his nose, his ears, his cheeks. So the true red man of the Bible, I'm going to assume this is probably him and his wife. Yeah. And her as well. But he's, that flesh pink, that flesh red. All right. They self-proclaimed themselves white in 1681 in Virginia. I was just watching the episode of which they clipped my video when I used it before, but I'm going to use it again and declare the copyright status of when Orlando Jones played the god Ansi, or I think it's Anasi, and he came in the form of a spider, and then he started talking to the slaves on the ship, telling them how you became black, they've labeled you black. And when these Dutch motherfuckers decided to call themselves white, see, they started to call themselves white, and they were in that ship, in the bottom of that ship in 1697 in that series. That was part 2 of Gods of America. And indeed, Idumeans have been the gods of America. Okay, especially once they went into the heavens and with their pseudoscience and all that. All right, but now that we've gotten that out the way, when the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, well, you're looking at it. All right, these are the only people on the earth. Everyone else was brown fleshed at that time. Okay, so back to this. It says paragraph 2 there, it says, the word manner as used in the King James Version indicates the reason for their rivalry, right? Because one is righteous and one is wicked. And you notice he did not reference Romans the 9th chapter at all, because it breaks it down in Romans the 9th chapter. All right. Matter of fact, let me grab that. Let's go to Romans 9. Romans the 9th chapter breaks down this scripture perfectly. It's a perfect precept. Oh, tripping. Just going to the phone. The Bible's right here. I guess we can do Romans. Start at verse 10. It said, for the 11, Romans 9 and 11. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election. That's why. Because the elect were going to come out of Jacob. All right. And the wicked were going to come out of Esau, Edom. That's the reason. So this guy, John Rittenbaugh, this Amalekite, that's an Amalekite name. Or it could be German, but, nevertheless, it could be, a German Jew. But nevertheless, he's giving you conjecture and opinion, not facts, not scriptures, not backing anything up with scripture at all. This is the way that these Idumeans try to control the narrative. All right, like he didn't explain, they tried to talk around the fact that Esau, Edom are actually people who refer to themselves as white. They try to talk their way around that, or they just try to make everyone white. Okay, so it's either one of the two ways that they go about that. All right, but it says. Verse 11, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works of but him that calleth. All right. I'm going to jump up to verse 18. Therefore, I'm going to go to 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So he hated Esau, Edom, out of the womb. He made him to be the wicked, and he hates wickedness. All right. He made Jacob to be the righteous. All right. And the Lord loves righteousness. This is his story, his movie, his plot, and he made it so. Up to verse 18. Therefore hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will he hardeneth. And it says, thou wilt say unto me, why he yet find fault? For he have resisted his will. Nay, but, O man, who art thou to reply us against God? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Have not the potter power over the clay, and of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? So as simple as that. So when he made from the same lump, from the same clay, from the same sperm, the two children came forth to be two different manner of people, to look different and be spiritually different. And one was created to rule the earth forever, and one was created to rule the earth temporarily in a wicked fashion, and to come to great power and then to be brought down. That's the and that role happened to be played by Esau Edom. Sorry. All right. And now that we're at the end of their world, the end of their rulership. All right. Now let's read what he says. He says, Rebecca's it says the struggle their struggling in Rebecca's room was particularly of what continued after their birth, which significantly influenced the history of Isaac's descendants. Each son's approach and matter of life irritated the other. Each rubbed the other in the wrong way. Rebecca seemed drawn to Jacob and Isaac to Esau, exacerbating the already volatile situation. Thus, each boy became victim of their parents' favoritism and encouraged to take advantage of it. And it had nothing to do with their parents. It had everything to do with the Most High. So he completely, this John Rittenbaugh left God out of it and then tried to put it on Isaac and Rebecca. All right, and and Isaac didn't hate Jacob, and Rebecca didn't hate Esau, but but Isaac favored Esau, and that didn't mean that he hated Jacob. And the same thing with Rebecca. She favored Jacob. That didn't mean she hated Esau. She loved her son. That was still her son. Okay? So this guy, that's everything that he just wrote right there is conjecture and opinion. And that's all what modern day religion is. It's all full of conjecture and opinion to shape the narrative to fit their agendas. So we're going to go back into the book of Obadiah and read and start at verse 8 in Salakia. Some work being done, so he's kind of losing it because I'm people outside. So Salakia for that. But this is Obadiah, the 8th chapter. I mean the 8th verse. And I finished off there. I'm going to start there again. It says, and it reads, "Shall not I in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau?" And I'm going to go to Job 5 because the Lord is making fun of them, because if you look at the fumbles and the mistakes that they keep making and how they keep pushing the same false narratives over and over again, the people are starting to see through them and poke fun at them. This is Job 5 and 14, and it reads, "They meet with darkness in the daytime and grope in the noonday as in the night, but saveth the poor from the sword from their mouth. But he saveth the poor from the sword from their mouth and from the hand of the mighty." Right? So the poor hath hope, and the iniquity stoppeth his mouth. Behold, happy is the man of whom God correcteth. Therefore despise not the chastening of the Almighty. So we're thankful that the Lord chastises us, okay? But he doesn't to Esau. And what he did was he let Esau's iniquity, his wickedness, raise all the way up to the heavens, man. All right, all the way up to the heavens. Let's go to let's continue reading verse 9. It says, "The mighty man, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the Mount Esau may be cut off by slaughter." And they're going to be destroyed violently at the hand of Esau Edom. And it has 3 scriptures here written in here, and I'll show them to you. In that particular scripture, there's 3 precepts that were printed in my Bible. All right, I don't know why that's not focusing. Satan is really acting up. You got the dog barking like crazy, not letting the equipment work. But the scriptures there are Ezekiel 25:12, Amos 1 and 11, Genesis 20. Oh, it finally cleared up. All right, Genesis 27:41. All right, so let's go to Genesis 27:41. All right. Yeah, this is Genesis 27:41, and it reads, "And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother Jacob. And that's been his mission ever since. Esau and his descendants have been trying to slay Jacob. Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood, different things that come out of the needle, experiments, what was it, the Tuskegee experiment, which ravaged both the southern and northern kingdom, because when they were found out about how they were doing Judah, then they went down to South America and continued it with the northern kingdom. All right. And there's going to be a payment for that. Ezekiel 25 and 14. Okay. Well, I thought this was going to be a 2-part series. Looked like it's going to be a 3-part series. But this is Ezekiel 25 and 12. I'm going to read all the way through 14. And it reads, Thus saith Yahweh power, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. All right. And it precepts Amos 1 and 11, which is, and Obadiah 10 and 14. So the scholars of this Nelson King James Bible, they weren't playing around, man. They know. And when we tell you that the scholars, like when you look at the Zondervan's Dictionary Bible, the Young's Dictionary Bible, and whatever, and the scholars of this Nelson's King James, the way they put these precepts together, it's clear that the churches, because remember, they're under the 501c3 charter, and and under the 501c3 charter, you have a gag order on subject matter such as this. That's why people don't have a clue, because even the people who are educated, they're educated in a restricted doctrine that doesn't, and you're forbidden to speak of prophecy and destruction. What was that? They said brimstone, fire and brimstone doctrine, because all this destruction of Esau, Edom, well, fire and brimstone is a part of it. So you're forbidden to even teach of that. That's why they teach that everybody's just going to go to heaven and float around somewhere else in the end, and that's not the case. Heaven is going to be here on earth, all right? And like you watch in the old ancient movies, when armies are going to go to war, and the victors goes the spoil, and this time it's going to the 12 tribes of Israel, all right? Point blank, period. That's what the Bible tells you from beginning to end. And then there's going to be peace on earth, and the elect out of those 12 tribes are going to be the judges of the earth forever and ever and ever. All right. And they're not going to be normal men. They're going to be immortals. All right. That's where you get all your superhero movies from, right out the Bible. I just watched the Eternals a couple weeks ago, and it's clear that they're representation of the Israelites. All right. A very corrupted version, but yet that's what they were representing, the judges. All right. Verse 13. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, I will stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of the Dan shall fall by the sword, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. This has not happened. When Edom gets erased from the earth, it is going to be by all 12 tribes. All right? By the 144,000, that the 12,000 superhuman, immortal members of the Israelites. Okay, point blank, period. It says, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith Yahweh power. All right, so saith the Lord. There's nothing anyone can do about it. This is the end game for Esau, Edom. All right, so and let me read verse 11, and then I'll stop right there and read the precept attached to it. And it says, and in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away the captives, his forces, the foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. So Esau, Edom, helped propagate the downfall and enslavement of Jacob, his own brother, to the heathens. All right, to the so-called Africans. All right, Rudolph R. Windsor talked about how the Roman markets were full of black Jewish slaves. In the book From Babylon to Timbuktu, the history of the ancient dark races, including the Hebrew Israelites. All right. It's a great book. And it matches up, the information matches up with the precepts in the Bible. Okay. And then they got Psalms 83, 5 and 8 connected to that. See? Psalms 83. And that's that crafty council. And who was the head of that council? The Idumeans. All right? The Idumeans. So let's go to that real quick. This is Psalms 83 and verse 5. And it reads, "For they have consulted together with one consent. They are all confederate against thee. The tabernacles," meaning the houses of, the races of Edom, and the Ishmaelites. Those are your so-called Arabs, or a portion of them, right? Because Arab means mixed or mongrel, and basically Arab is mainly a mix of Ishmael and Elam. All right? Of Moab, those are your Chinese, and the Hagarenes, more Ishmaelites. All right? Gabal, also Ishmaelites, and Ammon, the Japanese, and Amalek, those are the small hatters in the Holy Land. All right? The Philistines, those are your Hamites, the real Palestinians, so-called Africans, with the inhabitants of Tyre, also more Africans, and Assur is joined with them. Those are your Assyrians, all right, are the Hebrews, okay? Also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Selah. So all these nations came against the Israelites in confederacy, which is why all nations have to go